Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of the LA Thieves Pre-Show, and I'm very fortunate to be joined by the general manager of LA Thieves in Mud Dog and the thickest owner in 100T, also a YouTube superstar, Jack Courage Dunlop. How are you doing, fellas?
You know, I'm good. All things considered, I'm good.
I don't know what that means.
I'm doing all right.
You doing all right?
Yeah,
doing okay.
Hanging in there.
I'm doing great.
You've been beaming this whole time we've been here, and I can tell you're in a great mood, and I love it.
Fantastic mood.
What happened today? Why are you so happy?
I got to sleep in.
Wow.
Didn't have to wake up early and do 100T content, so it was nice. You know,
Good for you, man.
normally I'm working on like 4 hours of sleep, so.
Good for you.
Which is
Nice.
all my fault, by the way, because
Okay.
I haven't stopped me. But anyways, thank you, DollarShaveClub, for helping us put this broadcast together. We have a star-studded lineup, so let's get into the news. First thing I want to talk about, guys.
Yeah.
What?
Well, listen,
Well,
you're hosting. I'm just judging. I'm silently judging.
How am I doing so far?
You're doing well, but here's how I would have started.
Okay, let's hear it.
Ready?
He's always got a one-up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 100 Thieves Pre-Show, the LA Thieves Pre-Show, to be exact, presented by DollarShaveClub. My name is Jack Courage Dunlop, and I'm joined by the GM of the Los Angeles Thieves, Eric Mud Dog Sanders, and the most handsome man in the room, Ian Enable Wyatt. Guys, it's great to see you all here today. So much to talk about in the Call of Duty scene, from top to bottom, some good, some bad, but a lot in between, and that's what we're here for. Dollar Shave Club, if you use it to shave your pubes, your life is good. Let's get on into it. A lot to talk about in the Call of Duty community. Content creation, roster changes, rank play. Where do we even want to begin, Ian?
I think we could throw it to something that you probably have a lot of good advice. And that is pros and casters kind of making the switch to becoming full-time content creators. You guys probably know Zuma with the flank. He was a professional player in Cold War. I mean, there's Maven, who's horrible, but I don't know. He somehow has a pretty good following. But I guess my question is, like, do you think that there's other players out there or casters, just people in the scene that can kind of really take over content creation? Like Scump. Obviously, we know Scump when he's done. You know, he's the king of COD. Everyone knows who he is. But
Yeah.
do you think there's more opportunity now for some pro players to really go that route when they're done?
I mean, I can't speak from experience of being a pro player. As we know, I didn't quite make it there.
You were horrible, yes, we know that.
But
Nice.
sorry, but you guys both have. And from a pro player's perspective, I know it's tough for people like, as Scump mentioned, Scump is an extremely lucrative content creation career, but when he creates content and then loses, he gets flamed even harder than he talks about now. So, you know, a lot of pro players have to deal with that balance, and I'm sure even you from a GM perspective, you know, at times where, let's say, the LA Thieves are struggling, if Kenny's like, hey, let's go get burgers and film a burger video when we're losing matches, you're probably like, hey.
Not a good look.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
So I understand that there's both sides to it. I think it's great that more people are creating content because the Call of Duty scene thrives off these characters and these interactions, and we see it all the time on Twitter. But I'm proud of people for doing more to solidify their career after their players, right?
Well,
it's extremely lucrative.
I think that's where pros really have an advantage, is when they retire, you have the massive advantage of an initial following when you first turn that stream on, which most people don't have the luxury of having. So you can really rise to the top in content creation. The true way I really think to rise to the top is like a true personality, like a Jack style. But like you've seen someone like, you know, Huskers, who's risen to the top like in his field as well, and he's not very much like a personality driven streamer. He's like pure gameplay, pure talent. So there's pros out there that have the combination of both, because all of them have this really high skill ceiling.
Yep.
And especially if you have a little bit of personality to go that way, or just like know how to talk to a chat, things like that, you have that starting platform. And the other benefit you have is, the reality of it is, all of your friends are like the biggest streamers, the pro players, stuff like that too.
Oh yeah.
So you're just surrounding yourself with those type of people, and you grow from there. So I think a lot of pros, if they like put the effort and the time in, they really do have a great platform to get started, which is like the hardest part.
Yeah.
And I think as more and more retire, that we're going to see a lot of them rise to the top.
I mean, back in the day, like when I was streaming Black Ops 3 on Twitch, I was the second most subscribed channel at 1,000 subs. Now,
Jesus,
I mean, I would argue most Call of Duty pros that put in some sort of effort into streaming have over 1,000 subscribers, or are could be there if they put a little bit more effort in. So it's pretty insane. And Twitch has done a great job of making different avenues through gifted subs, through different sub benefits to Twitch Prime to really help inflate the sub counts and get people to have a more sustainable income to help them do this on a more full-time basis. So it excites me. You know, look, Zuma is an incredible character, right? When I talk about content creation, and this is advice for anyone out there, and when I look at the pro players, for Call of Duty, you can kind of get viewers in two ways. One, you are in the top 1%, 0.1%, like these pro players are, that people want to tune in just to watch you fry and drop huge numbers.
And learn from you.
In Warzone, mainly over multiplayer nowadays. But on the other side, you're either a complete entertainer and hysterical. Like, no one's watching Maven for his gameplay, but Maven's effing hilarious, right?
Yeah.
The other thing, too, I will say, though, is, like, because me and Cap always talked about this, like, you'd have, like, a 15-kill Warzone game streaming, and, like, you'd have a lot of people gassing it up. Like, even Maven, who is, like, quote-unquote horrible in our eyes, he's still, like, a top 1% player. So you forget that the base level of skill that, like, all of us have to some extent there compared to the average player. So that is a huge advantage, even with his, because his personality carries it, but the fact that he's good enough to go have 20-kill games just helps, like, really amplify what he's good at.
Oh, it's just like you know, it's kind of the same approach as Tim
sure.
or me. Like, people get hyped on a drop of 20. Meanwhile, like, if you tune into Symphony stream or Husker stream and they drop 20, it's like, damn, you had a shitty game.
Right. Bad game. I do want to say Maven's probably top 5%, not top 1% player. But no, I think it's I think it's awesome to finally see. I feel like we're at a stage where COD Pro specifically are, you know, using their platform to grow themselves as a content creator on YouTube, streaming, which is something that they've lacked. You know, normally it's just Optic and Scump.
Yep.
And now you see Zuma. I mean, I know like Simp, R-Cities, players like that who are still competing are even posting YouTube videos. And it's only good for the scene. But from personal experience, it's a lot harder than people think. Like, especially because you know, being a professional gamer, it was pretty easy. Like, you wake up, you practice, you compete, that's it. But when you do content creation and you have to be, you know, doing all of these types of videos, and it's just more of like an actual business, I guess. So
absolutely.
It's hard to do. Like, I don't know how Scump did it for so long and still does it while you're competing. I could never have done it.
Listen, I know how Seth did it. This motherfucker would sit down at his setup, click record, and you'd see him click record and go, YouTube, yo. And then he dropped 75 because he did it every single game. And then he'd go, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
And that's it.
I think the 70 TDM would be a little bit harder with skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah, what was it, Sweatband or whatever the whole thing was? Yeah, no, it was a little bit different nowadays.
I don't know what Sweatband is, but
Black Ops 2, he dropped like 70-something on Raid or something along those lines. 72-0.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
It was before my time.
Okay.
But I think it is good because a lot of COD pros have personalities, like, but you just don't see that from when they play, like, because you only see them on stage, and you get a very small glimpse. So just getting out as much content as you can, I think, will only help the scene. Which kind of leads me into the next topic, which was the Stage 4 Major, the first LAN in, correct me if I'm wrong, like almost 2 years. Right? Is it like a year and a half?
It was March 7th and 8th was the LA Home Series in 2020, and that was the last LAN.
Let's just be blunt. The viewership wasn't the greatest. I was super stoked to see it being back on LAN. You know, everyone loves the LAN environment.
Like, how was the energy of the players at LAN? Could you tell everyone was really amped, like, in the venue? Because there was no fans, right?
So the biggest thing that was unique from all past LANs is usually you have, like, the one practice area with all the teams where you, like, see the scrims going on and people are, like, engaging more.
Yeah.
At the esports arena, I forget the name of it, the Dallas facility, they did one practice room for each team. So it was very much like more compartmentalized, and it was tough to really have that like energy that you are used to from previous LANs. But like when you were out on stage and getting ready to go, you definitely felt that same thing. Obviously the crowd like is a massive component of LAN that we really missed, but the intensity was there once we were on stage for sure.
Yeah, and I just want to hear from that perspective, because as Ian was mentioning, you know, there's the online versus LAN argument that there always is.
Fugaze.
And what I'll say with Maven is, and Maven I think has done a good job of always sticking to his one side, which is people talk that there's insane differences, and there are things that are different. But for what it's worth, Atlanta FaZe win it for the 3rd time in a row. LAN versus Online. Dallas Empire looked great. They probably surprised me most of certain teams. But from a standpoint of viewership, it comes down to the results were nearly the same. The viewership was the same or slightly less due to lack of interest due to where we are in the year for the general multiplayer state of the game. Can you make the argument that LAN is that needed? That's the issue that I find for the Call of Duty League moving forward is if LAN viewership went up by 2.5 times, it's different.
That's a good point.
I mean, I think right away it's tough to compare without the crowd because that's a different spectacle.
Absolutely.
And it becomes more of a thing. I also think just in general, like a 4th out of 5th stage before champs, it's such a tough point because you're not at that early part of the engagement curve where everyone's excited about the new Call of Duty, and then you're not like close enough, like the end of stage 5 really going into champs. So it's also a tough period to have the first LAN. I think LAN is needed, and like that is something that does make esports
I agree.
special.
I agree. I think my thing is like
the metrics might not show it right away.
I want there to be LAN as often as possible, but you have to view it from a business perspective too, which is like, can you make the argument that every match needs to be on LAN always when online results for the stages? Sure, every major should be a LAN. Obviously, champs is a LAN. Those things are LANs. But the online matches, the week in and week out, it's a huge money save to not have to fly in players or get a venue.
Just run them in general.
Just run them online. Again, we could talk scheduling and format, and I know that there's a lot of talk about how much less exciting it is to watch one team just win 3 matches and get in. Because I watch all the events, I watch everything, and I get there's a lot to think about. I've talked to a few people this week about it, and there's a lot.
You have a strong opinion. I want to say one thing though. I think Maven is right. Just going on the online to LAN.
Yeah.
LAN with the fans there, that environment is needed. But I think that whole argument, it worked in the past when there weren't team houses, people weren't in the same states, like you were across the United States, and you didn't have dedicated servers that they do now. Like you said, it was pretty much you could have predicted it maybe besides Dallas, but I don't even think Dallas got second because it went from online to LAN. I think as a team was vivid. They just, they're finally on the same page. They're finally clicking it and moving forward. So I think Maven's right. And that is interesting because from a business standpoint, maybe it's not worth it unless you can get like a full sold out arena or whatever the case may be.
I think regarding the difference, like I agree with what you said where now there's team houses, a lot of players are in Texas, things like that. Online to LAN, there definitely is a difference in the gameplay, but I think the biggest difference is like players' mindset. Like a player like Slasher, for example, like he's flipping that switch and is like fully locked in and engaged on LAN, where it's just like do that for online tournaments, but it's still just a different environment at the same time.
And then didn't they also like adjust the hertz of the servers in the game? Did that get changed to?
So we play on 60 hertz servers now in practice. There were new monitors when we got there, so that was a little curveball.
But in regards to like the actual online lobbies, isn't 60 hertz for online competition better than years past too?
Yeah, so even to start this year, we were on like the 20 hertz servers to start, but now there's like a certain system where they can get in and play 60 hertz and everything.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I'd love to see people's thoughts in the comments of this video. And I know that I'm sure it'll be talked about on Reddit COD Competitive, even though a handful of people there hate me and think that I'm a sellout and don't watch Call of Duty anymore or talk to anyone.
They're not wrong.
Call of Duty scene. I am. This is brought to you by DollarShaveClub.
You're a sellout who watches Call of Duty.
Yeah, for sure. With that being said, I want to see it be successful. I had fun watching. I do think there's a little bit too much downtime between maps, which can slow down the pace a bit. I just think back to like Black Ops 3, bro. Black Ops 3 had such incredible viewership for certain things with pick ban.
Yeah, and it took forever. It took forever.
It was like a 15-minute intro process.
That's how big Black Ops 3 as a game was back then. Black Ops 3 was a very, very much played multiplayer game. I think because partly due in part to Warzone, because people can get the thrill of playing Call of Duty with that.
Right.
But then if you stack up Cold War to Black Ops 3,
yeah, it's night and day.
It's not even a competition.
Well, I'll tell you what. That leads me to the next part. We only have one more stage before Champs, but there's been a lot of talk on social media just kind of about the Champs format, and I guess the format in general. Obviously, only 8 teams go. I saw some of the pros tweeting that all 12 teams should be there because of the online thing again. And I guess this is a question that is for you, Eric, because you have the most insight out of us. Me and Jack know absolutely nothing. Like, do you think how they have the format right now, the 8 teams, if you're top 2 seed, you have a winners round 2 start?
You have a bye, I believe,
you have one bye. Like, do you think that's the best format that they could have?
So I don't like the idea at champs of having buys. I understand for the normal majors that you need to with the regular season, and I think part of the argument is that like the regular season final standings need to matter.
Yeah.
In my opinion, for an event like champs, like that, having that number 1 seed, playing that 8th seed, like that is a massive matchup advantage. Like if you're the number 1 seed playing the 8th seed, you're beating them, 8, 9 out of 10 times.
It's like it's like in sports. I don't get why they even have buys at all. Like if you're Atlanta FaZe and you get first in your group, and no disrespect, Los Angeles Guerrillas gets dead last. If they match up first round, Atlanta FaZe is going to win 99 out of 100 times. But like you give the potential for an upset, for a storyline.
Is this crazy to think like back in like approaching it like the old way, Eric, of like you have your top 8 teams, you go into the event where 1st, 4th, 5th, and 8th are in a pool,
like a group play type
and then
of thing.
2, 3, 6,
I saw some
7.
people proposing of like having the 12 CDL teams and 4 other amateur teams, or like in future years if there are more teams in the league, just eventually doing something like that. I would I always really enjoyed the group play into bracket format. I thought it was a great way to really build up the weekend, and I know it was a lot of Call of Duty, but I think for champs that'd be something that would be cool to see brought back in the future. I know like a lot of the traditional COD fans are accustomed to that format and really enjoy it in general.
Yeah.
I don't even know why there's no. They suck.
I mean, the reason there's no AM teams is because AMs always get fucking smoked.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, has there ever been like an amateur team that made a run at?
Yeah.
Or there was what was that one team? Black Ops 3. You were casting, right? You cast Black Ops 3. They were European. Fab something.
Yes.
Oh, Fabby.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
that was like Black Ops. That was champs. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not
But I guess that was the only
Supremacy
team.
was a French team.
Fabby. What a name.
That was with Vortex. They were good.
Yeah, no, that was. I mean, I love the Cinderella storylines. I think that for champs, like, I would love to see more matches played, but it does draw out the event. And again, let's be honest. If we want to worry about viewership, even more daunting of a day is a 10-hour-long broadcast 5 days in a row for an online.
Yeah.
Well, another argument you see people complain on the Reddit already. Like I saw one thread recently is that a match shouldn't start 25 minutes later than when it should. Inevitably, there's going to be delays, and especially if you have a day with a lot of matches, the schedule's just going to vary due to 3-0s versus 3-2, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the average fan, like at least in traditional sports, like when I'm watching the Philadelphia Eagles, if that game says it's starting at 1, I love knowing I can turn it on at 1 o'clock. Like if I was trying to watch a football game, I turned it on at 1 and they just like didn't start till 2:30. It'd be really like off-putting for a viewership perspective. So I think you also have to think about that type of stuff in general.
I think that is one of the tough things. Like, sure, a game can go over, but when you're watching these blocks of traditional sports, it's like they're not just going to somehow have a 5th quarter,
right?
Outside of like overtime.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, they could have triple OT.
That'll throw off the rest of the broadcast schedule. Like they always find a way.
Well,
Whereas,
even
like,
again, it's a different thing because they're in a different arena
venue,
the next game or something.
It's like imagine
that game just starts at the same time, then the TV
imagine,
coverage flips
get
over.
off the field.
Yeah,
Cyber Giants, Jags, fucking Jets. Dude, like, yeah, it would be so.
You got Spencer in the locker rooms yelling at you. 5 minutes to be on the field, Brady.
He's just lifting like the Atlanta FaZe roster off the stage. He's carrying Simp and Abizi like this in his arms. If you know what Spencer looks like, you know how jacked he is. Ranked play. This is something that I wanted to talk about. I think largely due in part to the reason why viewership begins to dwindle down, especially towards the end of the year, even though big lands are coming up and people want to see these things and there are storylines, is that no one plays Cold War. If you go and look at Cold War viewership on Twitch, it's just not existent because what is there to play for in Cold War? I've talked about this on stream many times. Your rank gets reset every single season. There's, sure, a few cool camos to play for. You get a battle pass, but why is the genuine person out there signing on to Cold War? Their rank gets reset. There's no good ranked system. I played 5 games. I played 5 games with TST, was the highest rank in the game. I literally joked to him, I'm never signing out again.
Yeah.
I said it jokingly, but then
you don't have anything to play for.
Bro, look at everyone that plays Valorant. Road to Radiant is like the #1 thing that people make their titles. And I had a fucking month and a half long streaming every other day on Valorant. goal of going to Radiant. I made it to like Diamond 3, like 2 games from Immortal, and then I was like, all right, I'm done with this game now. New Warzone update coming. What is the incentive for Tim the Tapman, Nick Merckx, Cloaksy, these big Warzone streamers to hop on Cold War and play? If there was an incredible rank system that people cared about that had robust, awesome rewards, that would be different. I had a 45-minute conversation with someone very high up at Activision recently this week, and I told them how important I think it is for there to be a small internal team that goes from developer to developer that has the one goal in mind to ensure ranked system gets released with a similar system, almost identical system in each game, that once it's built out once, there's a high initial investment, but that it's copy-paste from game to game with cool, awesome rewards. League play rewards just came out today for Cold War. They came out today. Like charms for your gun of your certain ranks and little borders and things.
Too late.
It's June 25th.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's June 25th. I want those to be in the game week 1 of the game's release. I want there to be an awesome system where it's like you want to get on and play. I want casuals to say, I should go play ranked because I'm going to miss out on all these fucking dope things. And then I should be able to view the matches in the player like we've kind of had sometimes in the past, but then also haven't had at times in the past. And the reason why I'm just fucking spitting right now, I'm not shitting on people. It's just that I'm passionate about
Bars.
it, bro. I want the success of this league just as much as everyone else. I want to see my friends be successful. I want to see LA Thieves, the other organizations be successful, not for the sake of, I'm not getting paid for any of this. Sure, I'm now co-owner in 100 Thieves, but
The thickest co-owner in the
amount.
sea.
It's a small amount where it's like, I want just this to fucking bang, bro. It is one of the biggest games in the world, but there is no reason to play this game and get into rank play when it's ass.
Can you?
No, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like, I worked at Activision for 4 years. Like, Call of Duty is everything, and that rank play system, like, the key to a good rank play system, obviously you need to have the lower barrier of entry to get people in, but you need something to engage the top people, because once you do that, that's going to be your streamers, your influencers who are playing every day. They feel the need to get, you know, whatever their diamond max rank rewards to flex on everyone else, and then as soon as you have them playing, you're going to have that trickle-down effect from there, and you make people care about it, and you make people care about watching. It is a relatively simple format, in my opinion, and you know, even in terms of the actual rank play mechanic, like World War II was great. It had like the Overwatch style elo system. You had actual numbers. Like
it was probably the best rank play, right?
It was the best we've had. People would say Black Ops 2 are.
Oh yeah, no.
Black Ops 2
I mean, that was the
right?
same as we have now. Like Abizi had 3 accounts to the top ranks. So if you were really good, you were able to prove yourself and like get on that list. Like I'd come home from work every day at Activision, and then him and Facento would be grinding every single day, and they were pro players at the time. But it was like,
then imagine
it was
if
good
there were
matches,
good practice
cool,
too, like,
even better rewards and things like that.
right?
Cool
Things
skins,
to incentivize
cool-
people.
Bro, Radiant
Charms.
and Valorant, Challenger and League of Legends. They used to send out Challenger jackets to all top 200 in Challenger.
Yeah.
I never got one.
And then obviously you have the border and all the cool skins. You get wards. You get all these items in the game for what you do.
Something I think, so the Knockout City rank play system added something that I really like. They have a thing where each like major tier you get to, so when you get to like gold, silver, whatever, you can't de-rank beyond that tier. And I know a lot of games.
I think
like,
League of Legends is like that too now.
I know League might be. Like Overwatch, for example, you could get put back past and you'd be like, oh, like I just hit platinum, I'm getting off for the night because I don't want to risk losing it.
Yeah.
Whereas now players would be like, I have nothing to lose, I'm incentivized to play more.
Yeah.
But then like once you hit that max tier, then that number rating elo system kicks in, which I think is a great way to do it too. It's a really simple points-based elo system, and then you get the elo once
Like
you're at the max rank.
it's like the difference between Immortal and Radiant,
Yeah.
and the difference between Master, Grandmaster, and Challenger in League. It's like you hit that rank, and then you just have an elo.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like even like top 500 Overwatch, that was really cool too.
Yeah,
And that stuff is great for teams because then it's easier to identify actual talent. Whereas now, like, I couldn't go look at a Masters ranked player and say he's ready for
Asuna.
Jack's
even
Masters.
potentially be
You
ready
know, you're
for
not
it.
picking him up on LA Thieves. But talking about that, you used with like World War II, right? Where how the elo system worked. You know, if you got to a certain point, you were playing good competition, and I mean, I don't want to say that you probably could have looked on that list and picked out some players, but that moves me to
Well, it at least give you the opportunity to like try those players as an option.
it's
What was
it's at
the dude?
least
What was the dude from
I know
World War II?
Yeah, I know.
I know,
Ryan Bacardi.
yeah.
Yeah. And like this dude's in the top rank. He's like, they're looking at how high his MMR is. He fucking fries in that one lobby. There were people on Reddit COD competitive keeping track of his pro career because of like hoping he was going to make it.
You know, but yeah, I
I mean,
don't
you
know.
could literally just go make a name for yourself
100%.
by
I think
beating pro players.
I think he ended up becoming an accountant. But that gets me to the AM to pro.
Good for him.
I was going to be a CPA. and then I dropped out.
Wait, you were going to be a CPA?
I was going to be a CPA. I swear to God, I did one
Hey,
year
bro, you owe a fuck ton of money.
Yo, I don't know what happened, but you are broke, brother.
Hey, but that'll be $350. Pay my shit.
You got my account number.
Spell CPA.
Dude. But so how do you guys see, I guess, the challenger scene? I know it's Academy and like League of Legends, but like, do you think that they're getting closer to the point to compare it to other esports? Because like I feel like in Valorant, in League, well, those are the two games that I know, you can actually judge talent.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the challenger scene this year, last year, compared to when I played and when I guess, Jack, you were really invested too, and you know, it's
I mean, I think with the challenger scene, you can definitely evaluate talent fine. The issue is just that's like a very closed system that only, like for the elite thing, it's only X amount of teams qualifying for. Like what we're talking about is a full rank play system that lets anyone come out of nowhere. Because part of like the advantage rank play has compared to challengers, like in COD right now, you need to find 3 other people who are decent enough at the game to climb the ranks to get noticed by each tier. Whereas if you're just a really talented solo player, you can just hop in solo queue and eventually you'll get to that top rank. And that's a massive, massive difference because to go and get 3 people on your skill level is something that 99% of like aspiring COD pros can't
it's hard.
even
Well,
do.
so do you think a good rank system though could almost funnel?
Yes, yeah,
funnel it
absolutely.
into
Like that's the tier when we were working at Activision. Like the tier that we would always explain is the bottom of your funnel is like even before rank play, it's your general like TDM pub stuff. Then it's like into the rank play players. And then filtering from that is into the challenger system. Then the tip of your pyramid is the pro players and the elite tier.
Like, haven't most stages been, correct me if I'm wrong, been like big stage happens the week after there's nothing, then the next stage week of matches begins for the most part?
Yeah, there's like a 10-day break.
Like
roughly.
what? Like imagine what it would be for the Call of Duty player during that downtime where the new ranked season lines up with our stages of our major. The end of every stage. There's a the stage ends, right? There's a weekend, the weekend of the big event. It's kind of more radio silent, and everyone in ranked, you get your rewards. But then for certain people at certain ranks, there are end of season tournaments, like they're planning for Valorant right now, and they do things like this in Clash. I'm playing Clash tomorrow in League. It's incredible. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I can explain more about it, why it's so good. But imagine the week after, during that lull period, there's now online tournaments for across all the seasons of all the things of ranked, where you can go and earn even more rewards. And there's highest level online tournaments and gold and silver.
Yes, so that's the important part. Like what I've always preached, like the way that we're gonna grow Call of Duty, like basketball is popular because you can go to a park down the street and you always see people playing it. Like the NBA obviously is what drives all the eyes and gets people there, but like traditional sports have that general fandom, and we need the equivalent of that in Call of Duty, where like people have these gold level leagues, things like that. Like we need to like cater to and foster competition at all levels, because eventually that's going to push people up to the highest ranks and help grow viewership and help discover more talent. It just benefits everyone in the ecosystem.
That's why I've been doing the COD Sub League. If you're interested, twitch.tv/enable.
Nice plug.
You know, it's pretty good, right? I was holding that in for a while.
Nice plug.
But no, you're right. I mean, it's just because people ask me all the time in my chat, any word of advice, like I want to be a professional player, and I'm like, dude, it was so different when I did it. I don't know anything about the challenger scene, and it does feel kind of locked off because 99% of the players that are aspiring to be a professional, they don't have 3 friends that are at their skill level.
100%.
And they don't know where to begin to find those
Most of
players.
my high school kids.
Yeah.
I play with their friends and like, we're playing TDM and they're like, "Oh, Jimmy, you got 48 kills this game. I got 3 with a rocket launcher and a riot shield." You're like, "Good for you, Samantha."
Like on the flip side of it, like when I was in middle school, we had the Halo 2 ranking system, and that really quickly separated who could actually play video games and who couldn't. Essentially, like
Bro,
me and Jack were best friends, and he was weighing me down, costed me a couple times. Never talked to him again in high school. True story.
Actually, I could tell the story of how Ian and I became friends.
Don't do this story. It's a long story.
No. It's nothing. It's just that I carried him in StarCraft 2, and I was a fanboy of his, so I got.
He forgot to tell y'all though that he also paid me 1,600 Microsoft points to be on my friends list.
I didn't pay you. I paid APG.
That's respectable.
Eric, I don't want to put you on the hot seat, but LAT did make another huge move that I'm excited for.
But you didn't want to put me on the hot seat.
Well, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to gas you up here.
Okay.
But bringing back John, who took a year off. He was in Challengers this year. I'm pretty sure he had a lot of success in Challengers.
Yeah.
Like he's won like a ton.
He was doing well.
He's looking basically like the John of old, one of the best sub players in the game. So I think it's a great move. I think that this roster that you guys have is going to be the roster that finally hits stride, I guess, at the right time. You guys heat up at the right time. But if you can, I'm just curious on like how did you guys go about getting him? What went into the thought process? Because I thought, me personally, people always ask me, they think I'm getting the intel because I'll like give my thoughts or my predictions on.
Yeah, I barely talked to you since you moved out. Actually,
dude,
you haven't got any intel.
And people literally are like, I say something and then it happened. Like everything that I said you guys were gonna get Hugh, like Slasher was gonna get benched. They're like, dude, you're literally getting intel. Like you're not smart. I was like, no, I promise. But so I thought it was just gonna be Draza for Teach. I didn't think John was a possibility. I thought he was gonna stay in Challengers for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we were really looking for the right piece and, that second SMG to fit into our system. And, Draza's proven he can run either role, so we needed
looked good.
Another person there. We have a great analyst who's created some advanced analytics that works with me and Cap because, like, in the past, you were always just, like, eye-testing things or, like, you'd maybe have KD as a stat to look at, but there wasn't, like, that much data. So we're trying to combo the eye test with some of those advanced metrics, and John was like a great fit there. He was someone we were looking at, going into the year, and the timeline of things just didn't work out. He's got experience. He's obviously been the MVP of champs before, so
he's decorated.
He's got the LAN experience. He's got previous history with Austin and Cap there. So hopefully the fit will be what we need.
And I think that another thing to mention too is, I know that there had been talks about like nerves, especially for LAN, things like that coming back. Like at the end of the year, John's not going to go into champs nervous.
Yeah,
like. This man's going to be like...
He's built for it.
I'm back at a fucking champs, baby. Like, he's going to put his MVP trophy next to his seat when he plays. So, I also agree. Like, while the newer viewer or someone that might be in the past 6 months to a year maybe has transferred from Warzone to COD competitive...
And they don't know anything about him
John
now.
is. This isn't like, just picking up another person to pick up another person. This is someone that has a lot of experience... who now, it's crazy to think, is like definitely a veteran in the Call of Duty scene.
Yeah.
And is very much someone who has proven himself before. And now the time has come. He got his health right. He's back now. He showed he still got it in Challengers. Let's fucking run it.
Yeah.
You guys, sorry, I was just thinking about this. You guys remember when I got benched by Seattle Surge, right? And then I got brought back and I did that whole Michael Jordan thing. I'm back. And then like... I thought like I was about to take over, like MJ, and then I literally got benched like one game after. Anyways,
did you ever hear the reason you got benched the first time?
Well, let's not talk about it. But I hope basically the point of it is I hope John has that type of mentality, like that fire. Like I'm back. He took a year off and he gets back to that MVP level.
I was about to say, like, before you rudely interrupted me, even yesterday when we were in the group chat, he texted, he's like, yo, let's get on like an hour and a half early. Let's go over break. Let's do all this. And like, obviously the team's going to do that stuff, but just seeing the initiative coming from the new players, like that excited to be involved, was great to see.
Here's what gets me excited for the end of the year. While it's been a rough year, there's been a lot of ups, but many downs. We come into this final stage with Slasher, who's fired up to be back and be playing at what's going to be a LAN, and also with this roster. You've got Kenny, who's the leader of this team, who's excited to have this team now. I think he really does genuinely fully believe it now and has the reins that we want.
He's super happy.
We have Draza, who has gotten his first LAN experience under his belt. Maybe not what he would have wanted, but hopefully got some of those nerves out of the way.
He looked good, though.
And did look good, and I think now will continue to prove himself more. And you've got John, who's got the, here I am. I'm back at the top mentality. Let's fucking run it. I think that the players are going to be hungry. You're already mentioning that John's saying, let's sign on early. These guys want to do it. And
I mean, these guys definitely have a chip on their shoulders. Like all four of them, everyone we've had on the roster are all great individual competitors.
Yeah.
And we obviously haven't had the results we want this year. And especially, with people like Austin and Ken and those people, like they're expecting championships. And anything that's not at least like a grand finals like appearance, you just can't go home happy about. So it's been, a stressful year for them, but they're excited to move forward and, hopefully change that going to the Major 5 and champs.
And here's what I'll leave this on, because I think we're winding down here, because we're going to talk to the players next. Is knowing what I know from everything that I've heard internally, and being someone that is removed from the Call of Duty scene for what I do in my day-to-day, but also does know of what the team has gone through, what Eric and Cap have gone through, what LA Thieves and those players have gone through, and everything that I've heard. I'm very confident that all the decisions that have been made this year, even though they might not have worked out, have been absolutely the right decisions. Any day of the week, you do what we did, knowing everything we know, and it's easy to judge from the outside looking in, but I know Eric and Cap. I know the players we have on our team and the people from all sorts of, walks and roles in 100 Thieves and LA Thieves. I have 100% confidence that everything we've done this year.
There's only one thing that I would have done differently, though. I would have given myself the 14-day contract.
Hey, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Give me a 1 day in a jersey, bro.
Well, guys, we're going to kick it to our COD roster, and they're going to be talking about everything COD related in a new segment called The Team Speak.
All right, thank you from the desk. Here we're with the team for this latest edition of the Team Speak, a part of the LA Thieves Pre-Show. Very new. We've got Slasher, Kenny, Draza, and our latest edition, John.
Yo.
Can I get a year?
I appreciate you, Cap.
Dude. So, obviously, John's newest edition. First team back in the CDL, and now you're going to your first event with fans. How do you guys feel about that? Talk amongst each other.
I've always wanted to play in front of fans, so I think it's gonna be, why are you laughing?
Wait, is this your first line in front of fans?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's not right.
Oh, my God.
So hopefully we don't have a hard match for our first match.
All right,
Off to gaming.
I'm excited to play for fans.
I'm kidding, bro.
I'm definitely
I think it's
excited.
gonna be lit.
I'm excited
Finally
for
getting
you.
back to normal. I think Zach will be all right.
We'll see. All right.
He'll pop a 2-piece in the back though.
That's what I'm saying.
All you need is that first 2-piece to get you going, kid.
That's what I'm saying. The break's everything. I'm
Yeah.
kill whoring off break.
Off the
I don't give a
break,
fuck.
you gotta get that first
That's
kill.
good to know. I got hill time.
Yes,
First
sir.
kill.
How you feeling though, John? How you feeling to be back?
I'm very excited to be back, playing with my boys. Austin Letico, teamed with him before, won champs with him. Very excited to be playing with him again. First time playing with Kenny. Excited to play with him. Played against him for a couple years now. He's a beast. And first time playing with Zach, and he's a beast as well. So yeah, very excited.
Raw beast.
Nice, baby.
Animals, horses. Well, I don't know about Zach yet, but
Yeah.
animals, yeah.
Well, no,
Guys are so
he
good
played
on that.
No, he played good the last lane, yeah.
yeah, he came in 30 minutes of practice, hopped on the stage,
Broken controller.
dropped 8K, I
Xbox
think.
One sticks. I don't know what the fuck I was using. Like,
How'd you
That
do
was
that?
respectable.
I don't know.
Dude, we already kind of touched on that on the episode of 0 to 100, but coming off that, we've had to have hit our lowest point at this point. Nothing but good vibes from here, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we try.
Wait, John wasn't even there, but okay.
I thought we were talking about. I thought we were talking about recently. Austin's been a little
Talking
off.
about the LAN event where we.
Oh yeah,
Major.
yeah, they try.
Yeah, we tried.
We try for sure.
I watched. I was in the watch.
Oh man, yeah. Father app was just a little too much that event.
True.
But yeah, going into this next stage, so we have fans. You guys are obviously excited, and the kind of position we're in, we're playing for what type of seating? What's our situation right now?
So we're in 7th right now, and I believe we're 20 points down on Minnesota, and we need to pass them to be in winners at champs. So all I think we need to do is outplace them at the event. So it starts by starting in winners bracket, and then doing better than at the event.
Now I feel like a CDL broadcaster, but obviously we want to make it into winners. But why is it, especially for this format, why is going in winners so important?
Well,
Just
if you're
gives
in
you an
winners,
advantage.
you have a safety net. You could lose once and still be in the tournament. If you're in losers, you kind of if you lose, you're out. So
That's true.
that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So we'd much rather be in winners.
All you have to do is play perfect COD this whole event.
So yeah,
I've been seeing a lot of things where it's if you're winners, you just win 3 3.
That's if you're like the first or second seed.
Yeah.
If you're like the first or second seed, you can win like 3 series and win the event. But we can't get to that point.
I think the highest we can get is 4th.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure.
as long as we're winners, I don't care what our seed
fuck
is.
it
I don't
then.
care who we're playing.
We can get 4th, I think, is the highest.
Really?
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
I think it's the highest.
Yeah. So I
Which
mean,
isn't bad, but it ain't first. It ain't first.
whatever winner bracket, I'm down for that because it's so much easier to win from winners than losers.
For sure, I feel it. Yeah, I think some of you may have seen it, like Scum's clip talking about the champs format. Like, do you guys personally share the same opinion, or let's have a roundtable talk here?
Yep.
I feel
Definitely.
like we talked about this a little bit before. We all said that we don't really like the format. Bottom 4 teams not being able to make champs kind of sucks.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a fan of like a team that's already out, it's no point in watching. Like, you just watch. I mean, I'm not saying it's no point in watching. I just feel like that's how they feel. It's like, what are they watching for? It's like they're not going to the biggest tournament of the year. Kind of pointless to watch league matches in one major tournament. But if they're at the bottom 4, they're not really hoping for much at the major either. You know? I mean, that's just as real as it gets to me. But I mean, I agree with him. I think the format does kind of stink, but at the same time,
It is what it is.
Champs.
I'll be there.
But I know, like, John, how do you feel like hopping in to just play? Because, like, if you didn't get this chance, like, going through challenges, what does that look like? Do you have a similar format, or is that, like...
To be honest, I don't know how Challenger Champs works. So I'm just happy to be playing on a team that has a chance at champs, and we still have a chance to be in winners bracket and actually, show, like, what we got. But I really don't know how Challenger Champs... I think they just came out with the information, like, a week ago. So I don't know how to feel about that. Do you know, Zach?
No clue. I think like the top 24 teams like auto qualify, and then this is winners bracket, and then like 8 teams like go through like a LCQ or something like that. So everyone I think gets winners.
There's 32 teams in that shit.
Yeah, I think so.
Dang.
But like 20 of them.
Wait,
are
how does that work
horrendous.
though? Do they? I don't know. We'll watch it later.
Okay.
Cause don't you host in challengers?
Yeah, I think they're gonna do like veto, where you can veto one host, so you veto the worst host, and then they put you on the second.
That doesn't
worst
do
host.
anything though. His cousins on the same team. They live
Yeah.
in the same
People
house.
are flying, people are flying into the same house,
I bet,
so
Jordan.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't
I've been there, done that.
So we've got Cap, John, Austin on the same team. We've got a bunch of Black Ops 2 maps in rotation. Odds are in our favor, or what?
Well, we won in Black Ops 3, but close enough. It was like 2 years after. How many maps are there from Black Ops 2 now? 6? Like 6 in this? Because they're adding
this game?
slums and plaza. Actually,
Are they adding that in the
They're
game,
adding
though?
slums
Like, are we playing it, though?
And
But does Newtown count?
What's the one
nah,
with the
Newtown
church?
don't really count.
that counts.
Newtown don't count.
Okay. What's
There's
the
like
church?
six Black Ops 2 maps now. They're legit just reskinning it. I mean,
I
I
love
like it
them.
though.
No,
Black
yeah,
Ops 2
it's
maps
fun.
are the best.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're pretty consistent.
I would obviously love some new maps that are as good as the Black Ops 2 maps, but
That'd be
that's
nice.
hard to come by. So we'll take what we can get.
Facts.
Sure.
All right, I think we've reached our time, boys. Thank you all for hopping in for this live LA Thieves Pre-Show brought to you by DollarShaveClub. We're going to shoot it back to the desk with Eric Mud Dog, Jack Courage Dunlop, and some other guy. Peace out.
It was a great show, but
This was a blast. This was a blast, man.
Jack, thank you. You look so thick and handsome. Yeez, as always.
4
You're a
workouts with
beautiful
personal
human
trainer.
being. One of the greatest general managers of all time.
thick at the moment.
No, you look good, bro.
Hey, we're good. Dad bods are in. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the 3rd episode of the LA Thieves Pre-Show, brought to you by Dollar Shave Club.
DSC.
Make sure to check out other content on the LA Thieves channel. We have 0 to 100, the classic.
Fire.
We have Run It Up.
Enable.
And we have other hilarious content video, guys. So don't forget to check it out and leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
And YouTube. We'll see you watching later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.